Good evening, friends. This is Jason from Exodus FC, and I'm here for a little sundown Spurs talk this evening. I've been waiting for conditions to be a little better. It was pretty hot the last few days, and now the sun's down. It's cooled off. The winds that we were having earlier today have been... It's still slightly breezy. It's actually quite pleasant, but it much better conditions. So, sorry, a little exchange pop up there. Anyway, so I've been waiting to do this for a while here, and now I want to get into it. 3 a.m. my time here in the Pacific Northwest. Spurs will be playing their first preseason game with West Ham in Perth, and so we're looking forward to that. Of course, I think I'll probably be asleep. I have a couple angles on how to take in that game, but I will probably be doing the sensible thing and sleeping and hearing people's reactions the next day. One of the things that I am excited to see is just how all the various players do, and will Tanguy have a big game, show something, prove that he can find his work rate in the right circumstances, and can Eric Dyer actually play defense? Most people don't seem to believe that anymore. But anyway, I'm just excited for the ball to get out there and new games to be played. And one of the things that I'm interested in a lot for this coming season is just the kind of man management that Postecoglou will bring to running a squad. The last season really has trying to crystallize my thoughts on this, but really showed how important it is in this day and age to have a manager that takes advantage of all his players and finds game time for all of them to some extent. The question that I kind of have looking at things is, how much does not playing or playing? I mean, we've seen players that don't get the game time, like Richarlison, and the players that get all the game time, like Sonny, even when they haven't earned it, when they were basically injured all season. I'm looking forward to seeing a season where players will go hard, hopefully for about an hour, 70 minutes, and then they will actually get subbed, even if they're Harry Kane or Sonny. I mean, the reality is, I think, we've had too many players, good and bad, that have gotten too much game time. I think with the trends in modern football, you should be, especially with five-player rotations, or 5-player substitutions, I should say. You need to use those, and the managers that take advantage of those have an edge. And I think the argument we got from Conte and more defensive coaches is he has players he trusts and they get the playing time, and that's just not workable. And so I'm hopeful that Postecoglou is going to give us a breath of fresh air in terms of playing lots of players every game, taking advantage of all those substitutions, and getting all players enough confidence, enough playing time, and having enough confidence to develop younger players, and really show us something we haven't seen in the last 4 years. So I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm certainly excited to see what I wake up to find tomorrow morning. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Right now I'm using my crummy iPhone headphones. I'll probably be ordering a wireless lav mic just so that I can not have to mess with it. I experimented with recording a little bit just to see what the quality was, and I think I definitely need a dedicated mic just because of the road noise and wind and everything else. And it's amazing how cheap they are nowadays. So kind of a no-brainer. But anyway, and I need to give a shout out to some of the Tottenham supporters that inspired my little recording here. Definitely Sean Butler with Spurs Talk Show. Love his daily walks where he gives an overview of the recent news and that kind of thing. I'm definitely looking to kind of do my own thing and have my own topics to talk about. And actually, it won't always be about Spurs either, I think. We've got the Women's World Cup coming up. And so, of course, I'll be taking those games in. And I enjoy the US WNT, of course. But I also like watching the Lionesses and any good football and soccer teams. It's always fun to tune in and watch this time of year. And of course, yeah, and from time to time in the future, the men's national team as well from the U.S. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I'm definitely a fan, but man, social media for the U.S. men's team can be pretty toxic. I mean, it can everywhere, but it's like a whole another level. But yeah, it's all, and actually, it's kind of funny. It reminds. I mean, it's the same across all levels, really, international or club. You've got players that should be playing more, or the super talented player is not playing enough. But have they really earned it? They're not working hard enough, or whatever. Most recently, Gio Reyna, and I think he has kind of turned a corner, and he's been fit long enough without an injury. But yeah, going into the World Cup, I mean, I watched his games leading up to that, and man, his work rate in some of those Dortmund games in the lead up was just embarrassing. So anyway, I think he's turned the corner, and I think he's young. He's figuring things out, but yeah, and that's not even getting into the soap opera aspect of it. But getting back to Tottenham, what am I looking forward to find out or hoping to see tomorrow morning? Mostly I just want to see players getting game time. I want to see them playing with the intensity and the speed. I don't have much in the way of defensive expectations. I'm more just interested in seeing how our midfield looks, how well those pieces fit together, what the impact of Maddison will be. Very excited to have him in the squad now. Can Sonny bounce back from a tough season where he was probably injured since before the World Cup? I mean, yeah, I understand him playing through the World Cup, but afterwards, yeah, it's just players that were played injured, apparently Dyer and Sonny, should have gotten the surgery immediately. And it seems like there's this trend of Tottenham players that are playing through injuries, putting them off. We've got Winks, even when he's, went to Sampdoria for his loan before, we sold him this season. I mean, he needed surgery basically immediately because he'd been trying to work through it. And same thing for, Sonny and then Dyer. Playing through injuries and being subpar and apparently being the manager's only trusted players, it's just a terrible combination. Guys should have been getting time and they didn't, and nobody won. Nobody won at all on the field or with the players. So it's complicated, but I feel like with Ange Postecoglou, he's going to be a lot more results oriented, and I look forward to seeing how he handles our star players like Maddison, and of course Harry Kane and Sonny. And I'm looking forward to them actually getting subbed out occasionally, and Harry Kane in particular, assuming he stays with us. So that's a whole other story for another recording. But for now, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully more to come, and look forward to talking about the game more tomorrow. So have a good evening, morning, afternoon, or whatever it is where you are, and I will talk to you soon. And remember, to dare is to do.